Good afternoon. My name's Caleb Ewers. This is my discussion post about the scenario one, where commercial student with the flight from Richmond to Dare County, North Carolina, and not being able to land due to a deer on the runway. I think the biggest question that needs to come up is what was the purpose of the trip. I'm going to have to make assumptions that since it wasn't given, that since we're a commercial pilot working on or a student pilot working on a commercial rating, that the purpose of this trip was just sheerly to get cross-country experience, to be able to be recorded for the commercial certificate. In that case, we would still be able to we need to have another airport of intended landing to log cross-country flight time, and also for the purposes of the rating, the two airports where landings occurred need to be over 50 nautical miles apart. So in order to make this count for a certificate, we need to have a landing at least 50 nautical miles away from Richmond. Personally, looking at the scenario and the map, I've went to first flight before, and I would think that would be a great place to divert to. Pilot could get out of the airplane and go visit the Wright Brothers Memorial. Just going down to the risk of it, the pilot, I'm very confident that the I am safe checklist was accomplished prior to departing for the outbound leg. And since he's working on his commercial rating, or he or she is working on a commercial rating, I'm sure they have a fairly decent amount of experience and have appropriately completed flight plan, and have thought about at least the possibility of having to divert. The aircraft in the scenario wasn't given. Most likely, since the pilot is in training, this is probably a trainer of some sort that the pilot is very familiar with. So I really wouldn't have any concerns with it. The outbound trip was only an hour, so most primary trainers have an endurance right around 4-hour endurance. So, I mean, as long as it is fully fueled. So the only concern with diverting, I think, would be as if the aircraft wasn't fully fueled prior to departure, which would be a bad idea anyway. The environment, it's a pretty flat. There's a lot of water in the area. Along the route, you could pick up flight following from Norfolk and Potomac approaches. Dare County and first flight's just outside of Norfolk's area, so I mean you'd probably have to get north at Palmico Sound to get flight following back. But to know the environment, probably want to stay a little bit close to shoreline while going over the sound, and also there is the Great Dismal Swamp that we'll have to fly over, but the amount of time over it's not that much, and there are railroad tracks that cross through there and some roads, so there's options if you need to do an emergency landing in the vicinity, but it's better to be prepared and try to avoid the area. And external pressures, I'm just going to have to make an assumption that this is done during off time for training. Most of the time myself, I don't bookend any obligation before or after the flight, so that I'm never in a situation to be pressured to have to be back. So I guess I would going to assume that this pilot in this scenario was in the same boat and planned life accordingly, where they don't have anything bookend on the end of the flight or any need to be back. So diverting to be able to land at another airport to pick up the time shouldn't be a big deal. And I really don't see too many other issues with this flight. It seems pretty simple. Just divert so that the flight time counts. And thank you. Have a good day.